Hey guys, so today I'm going to share with you something that I've been looking so forward to for a really long time, and that is the stories behind each of my tattoos. I have 3 tattoos so far, with at least 1 more in the works that I'm hoping to get this summer, but until then I'm just going to share with you all about the 3 that I have now, and I will tell you about the one that I have planned for this summer too. Absolutely love talking about why I got them and just discussing tattoos with people in general. There's some biblical things that people get caught up on and think that, it's unchristian-like for a Christian to have a tattoo, but I don't believe that. I've done my own research into tattoos and biblical texts about it, and if you want to hear more about what I think on that, feel free to ask and I might do a whole video about it. But in the meantime, I'm just going to share with you the stories of my tattoos. I got it last semester. I think it was around late November, but I don't really remember for sure. It was funny, I was visiting my best friend. I was about an hour away from my college, and I decided that I wanted to get a tattoo that day. And so I texted my roommate and I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna get my first tattoo. And she was like, what? Oh my goodness, I'm on my way. So my roommate actually ended up meeting us, me and my best friend, to, watch me get this tattoo. And then she decided to get a tattoo too. So then we just got tattoos together, but it wasn't as random as it seemed. It's not that I just woke up that day and decided I wanted to get any old tattoo. It was actually a tattoo that I've had planned for a really long time, and it's this one right here on my wrist. It's just a simple cross, just 2 lines that it took the guy about a minute to do. This is the tattoo that I've had planned for the longest time. When my grandma passed away in 2009, I decided that I wanted to do some sort of memorial to her. Now, keep in mind, in 2009, I was 12 years old, but even then, I knew that I wanted to do something. And that idea started off, I wanted a little heart right here on my hand. And then as time evolved, I realized that that didn't really make much sense. It wasn't what my grandma really represented. It wasn't like a little heart on my hand. That didn't really fit for my grandma, but my grandma loved the Lord, and a lot of my early years, when I think back about my walk with Christ, that's really where that started, was with my grandma and my parents. But my grandma was always taking us to church, and I loved her. We all loved her. She's amazing. Kind of started as that memorial tattoo idea, and then eventually it rotated around to my wrist. And then as I grew closer with Christ, and as I recognized more and more that I wanted to live my life for Him, I kept coming back to the idea that Christ told His disciples to carry their crosses. And it was just a reminder for me to just wake up every morning or throughout the day and just look down and see that on my wrist. I just remember, to carry my cross, and I remember what Jesus did for me. The next tattoo that I got, it's really funny because you can't really see it that well, but it's in a very, very visible place. It's just not very easy to see sometimes. But it's this one right here on my wrist. It's not my wrist, it's my elbow. But yeah, it's right here on my left arm, right before the bend of my arm. And I can't really hold this one up in the air to show you very well either. I'm very good about picking tattoos that go in weird places. But it just says, "May my soul resist the rush." This is a quote that I read a version of it in a book called The Best Yes by Lisa Turkhurst. I read it last year, senior year of high school at some point. I don't really remember when, but somewhere in that book she just talked about slowing down and taking in life rather than just rushing through. And I paraphrased that quote and decided that I wanted it as a tattoo. I knew for a long time that I wanted some sort of quote tattoo, but I was never really sure what. But when I read that quote in that book, and then when I transformed it into something that fit more personally for me, I just knew that that was the thing that I wanted. I had a couple tattoo artists decline doing the tattoo because they said that the location and the size I wanted would fade really quickly, but it looks really, really good. Of course, I got this tattoo on like January 30th, I think. But the guy that did it was absolutely wonderful. He wrote this onto me with just the tattoo marker and just tattooed it on. It wasn't like a preset font, which I guess you can probably tell based on the fact that it looks handwritten. But this one is probably my favorite as far as meaning to me, I guess, because it just hits me hard every time that I look at it and actually let the message sink in, and I just love it so, so much. And it's so pretty too. Like, he did such a good job of handwriting it, and I just love it. My third tattoo is a tattoo that you might not necessarily believe someone when they tell you that they have this tattoo. And of course, part of that's because not very many people have this tattoo, but I can honestly say I have a peanut butter and jelly tattoo. This is a tattoo that my best friend and I decided that we wanted to get when we were about 15. And at the time we were, serious, but also joking, didn't really think we would ever do it. But then in March, we were hanging out, my best friend and I, to celebrate my birthday, and we were like, what do we want to do today? And Jamie was like, well, we could go get our peanut butter and jelly tattoos, and the rest is history. We showed up, the guy thought it was adorable, drew them up, and a couple hours later, we left with our matching peanut butter and jelly tattoos. I get so many comments on this tattoo, it absolutely cracks me up, because I didn't think that it would be that visible to anybody. I thought surely that my wrist and my inner arm tattoo were going to be much more visible to the public, but I was so wrong. So many people see this tattoo and are like, oh my goodness, it's adorable. I actually had one kid who was sitting behind me in before like a concert show performance thing. It was a music performance at school, but anyways, he was sitting behind me and he leaned forward and he was like, I just have to ask, is that a real tattoo? And it made me laugh so much because I was like, no, it's fake. Like, totally just put a fake peanut butter and jelly tattoo on my ankle. But it's adorable. I look at it sometimes when I'm having a bad day and I'm just like, you're a cute tattoo. I adore you. And it reminds me of my best friend. Her name's Jamie, so she's the jam and I'm the peanut butter. We made some comment about I hold things together and she's the sweet one, which is funny because we pretty much all know that I'm like the sweet one and she's the feisty one. But yeah, so those are the 3 tattoos that I have so far, and then hopefully this summer I'm planning on one more, and that is going to be, I'm just calling it a songbird tattoo. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's going to basically be a bird that is like wispy and pretty. It's not going to be like an actual like picture of a bird. It's more like an abstract bird, and then on the inside of the bird there's going to be music notes and whatever else the artist draws in there, but it's just going to be a tribute to how much I love music, and it'll just remind me, where I get my sanity from. So I'm not really sure where I plan on putting that one yet, which is really the only reason I don't have it yet, because if you haven't already done the math, I got this tattoo and my peanut butter and jelly tattoo within a couple months of each other, and actually the same for this one to this one. So I am very addicted. I love them, and one day I'll stop getting them, but I keep joking that I'm just going to wake up one day and have an accidental sleeve, which I think would be absolutely hilarious. So yeah, that is my tattoo story. I would love to share more if you have any questions. I would love to talk to you about your tattoos. If you have tattoos, I would love to just talk to you about anything. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, leave a comment below. If you have any video suggestions, if you have any more questions about my tattoos or anything like that, share your stories with me. I want to hear about them. Yeah, but until the next time I see ya.